I call to order the April 15th, 2025 meeting of the Las Virgenes-Malibu Council of Governments Governing Board. Will the Executive Director please call the roll?
Nico Gold,
Here.
Marianne Riggins,
Here.
David Shapiro, not yet. Ray Pearl,
Present.
President Sylvester.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. We'll now move on to the approval of the agenda. Does anyone have any changes they would like to make to the agenda? If not, do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Thank you. Will the Executive Director please call the roll?
Nico Gold.
Aye.
Marianne Riggins,
Yes.
David Shapiro, Ray Pearl,
Aye.
President Sylvester.
Yes. Thank you. We're now moving on to the public comment period. Are there any members of the public who would like to address the governing board? Terry, have you received any public comments electronically?
I have not.
Since we have no public comments, we will go to item number 4, the consent calendar. Consent calendar items will be approved in one motion unless removed for separate discussion or action. Would anyone like to remove an item from the consent calendar? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I moved
So
to
moved.
consent calendar, sorry.
Will the Executive Director call the roll?
Nico Gold,
Aye.
Marianne Riggins,
Yes.
David Shapiro, Ray Pearl,
Aye.
President Sylvester.
Aye.
Motion
We're
carries unanimously.
Thank you. We're now moving on to information items. We're going to start with an update from AQMD. I would like to call on Jason. Are you doing the update?
Hi, good morning. So there'll be several of us giving an update. I think
Okay,
we'll be starting
great.
first with Terrence Mann.
Good morning, everyone. We know you have a packed agenda, so we'll try to go quickly. It's good to see a number of familiar faces. It was great to meet many of you last week at our tour. We got some excellent insights. It's always helpful to know, what the community is actually seeing. It's not the same on a map, of course. And so we look forward to having more efforts, more agency efforts there. As I shared at the time, I'm the head of enforcement for South Coast AQMD. Our inspectors have been and will continue to conduct weekly surprise inspections at the landfill. We will also respond to community complaints. We have been doing that, and a couple weeks back, we deployed a team to meet with a number of community members to hear their concerns and have them show us what they were seeing, in real time. We have not identified any violations at the landfill or near it. But we will stay vigilant. Also, one thing to note, and one thing we shared on the tour, is that our agency enforces CARB's anti-idling regulation. So if trucks are out there idling for more than 5 minutes, and there's some other aspects of it, but that's the gist of it. Community members, or some of you, can feel free to call us, call our complaint hotline, and we will respond and attempt to address it. That's basically it. I will be here to answer any questions if they relate to my team. And with that, I will hand it off to Jason.
Great. Thank you so much, Terrence. And it was very much a pleasure meeting all of you and providing more insight to the situation that's over in your areas and impacting your communities. So as part of the air monitoring update, we continue to do the stationary air monitoring in the debris areas of both the Palisades as well as Eaton. The air monitors provide data for air toxic metals, including lead and arsenic, and also include asbestos. We also are measuring near real-time particulate matter, so that's the larger particles, or PM10, or the smaller particles, PM2.5, that could go deeper into the lungs. We started that effort in late February of 2025 and are continuing that effort and posting results on our website, www.aqmd.gov. So those results are posted and updated weekly for the metals as well as the asbestos, and they're in near real time for the particulate matter. Just a quick high-level summary of mainly the Palisades fire area data. Generally, the air toxic metals are within background levels. We do see some instances of elevated metals observed, arsenic and cadmium kind of earlier in February, and then more recently it's been manganese and vanadium. They do not pose a public health risk according to consultation with our health experts from the LA Department of Public Health, as well as the California Office of Environmental Health Hazards. Results are finalized through April 1st, 2025, and we'll expect the next set of results later reported this Thursday or Friday. Generally, asbestos is not detected. Results are finalized through April 4th. We did detect 2 samples of asbestos, one at Fire Station 69 on March 26th, and also once at the Will Rogers State Beach on March 11th. The continuous PM 2.5 and PM 10 data continue to be underneath federal standards up to the current date. And also with the tour, we were made more aware of the air quality sensors that were deployed in the various areas of Calabasas, especially several of them along the road, and also the Quant-AQ sensor that was deployed at the park nearby the landfill. My team is continuing to evaluate. They started last week to evaluate some of that data to see how they compare against the typical levels of those particular pollutants, comparing the ones that are near Los Virgenes Road to those that are away, and then also looking at historical data. So we'll look forward to reporting that to you in the future. With that, I'll pass it over to Lisa.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having us here. My name is Lisa Tanaka. I'm the Deputy Executive Officer for Legislative and Public Affairs, and that includes community outreach and working with local government. So on the tour, we clearly heard that this is a very new experience for your community members, and many of them may not know about our agency or even how to file a complaint. So we are here and willing to work with all of you. If you have events in the community, meetings that we can attend to explain how to file a complaint, they can do so by downloading a free app. Makes it really easy. You can include pictures and video. Also, our complaint line is an 800 number. I think Terrence mentioned 800 cut smog, and then online on our website at aqmd.gov. But really happy to provide printed materials and some other kind of giveaway items that have the information handy for your resident. So we did provide some materials to the city of Calabasas for their event this weekend. And Mayor Sylvester, thank you for your email. We look forward to continuing discussions. And with that, that ends our report. Happy to take questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the AQMD? Scott, do you have anything? Because I don't see David on the call yet.
No questions, Mayor, but I did want to just thank AQMD again for sending out such a great contingency and listening to all of our needs and taking the time out of your busy schedules. So very grateful for your time and input.
Thank you. Yes, I will second that. It was very reassuring to have you there. I see that Mark McCalman from FEMA is on the call. Mark, do you want to do any follow-up here?
Hi, good morning. I'm not sure what you mean by follow-up, Mayor Sylvester, but I'm here to answer any questions and just be aware of what's how the discussion's going.
Right, thank you. And thank you for sending the information about the trucks and what they what the signs they should have on them.
Sure, I could just say that we did get a response to some of the queries about the debris trucks and some of the complaints, and did respond with U.S. Army Corps of Engineers response to that, and we sent it to the mayor of Calabasas. I just sent it just before this meeting started, so they might not have seen that yet, but it includes the hotline for U.S. Army Corps of Engineers in case someone sees, observes violations, and it also includes the LA County hotline in case there are any trucks that are not Army Corps trucks that they are observed. So folks have multiple ways to report, and we want folks in the community to report that so that any corrections can be made, and it helps us stay in touch with how things are going in the field. So that's the report as far as our response to some recent activities. We do want to also, while I'm on got the moment, is today is the last day for the ROE or right of entry forms to be submitted to the county, and we just want to remind it goes until 11:59 tonight. And we're grateful for all who help amplify that message for those last few people who have not made the decision, not been able to. This is the final hour, final day. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you so much. Aniko, I see you have your hand up.
Yes, I also wanted to extend my greatest gratitude to AQMD and all the representatives who came out last Thursday and met with us and that afterwards visited the landfill. I wanted to thank you, and I also wanted to thank Brenda Almond, who is the AQMD governing board member who was present. We really appreciated her attention to our concerns. And I have one question. How will AQMD let our cities know about their findings and as you monitor the situation over time? Are you going to be sending us weekly updates, or how are we going to communicate on an ongoing basis about the results of your monitoring?
So in general, there's a press release that goes every week. And maybe Lisa, we can make sure that the everybody here is on the list for reporting out the results. And then maybe as far as like the sensor evaluation, since we did start over the weekend and we do that, perhaps it's something that we can consider maybe Lisa reporting back out to this COG when it's ready.
Thank you.
That would be wonderful. Lisa, I think if you send the information to Terry, he can forward it on to all of us.
That sounds great. I'll make sure that Terry gets it every week.
Thank you.
Can I ask one more question? If you have any ways of promoting your app that I have on my phone and I use it every day, that we could push out to our residents, any promotional materials or anything that we could use on our end to advertise this great app to our community, that would be welcome too. Thank you.
That's great. I'll make sure to send Terry the electronic files and all of those who participate in the tour. And we appreciate you sharing that with your residents, and happy to do events again too. So if there are events, please reach out to Terry has my contact information, and if we have staff, we'll definitely be there.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll now move on to the homeless funding update. Is Marco Santana with us? Terry?
Yes, he is.
Oh, he is. Okay, great. Marco Santana from the LA County Homeless Initiative team to provide the update.
Hey,
There
folks,
he
sorry about
is.
that. How's everyone going? Happy to talk around Measure A and local solution funds. Terry, I don't know if there's a specific item you all would like for me to discuss, but I could talk about kind of the allocation and breakdown of our timeline and so on, and then see if there's any questions thereafter. But as you all might know, as citizens of the county, we all voted on a citizen-led initiative, Measure A, back in November. It's a new homeless tax, half-cent sales tax that for now is in perpetuity. Part of the measure dictated that there be the creation or expansion, I should say, of the local solution funds, and Las Virgenes-Malibu COG is no stranger to that. We've partnered with you all for the last roughly 2 years on the Measure H local solution funds. With that, the increase in Measure A revenue and allocation came essentially allocations and increased allocations for every city and unincorporated area across the county. Part of that was tasking the homeless initiative, my team, the team I work alongside with creating a new funding methodology and a couple other metrics for the disbursement of the funds. Ultimately, we provided 6 different funding methodologies. The ended up adopting one that they thought their communities had the most in favor of. And essentially what that came out to be, as guided by the measure, dictated that there had to be a formula driven by the PIT count, the homeless point in time count, as mandated by HUD, or a similar metric. And so what we did, the one that the board went with, one of the allocations we looked at was 90% point in time allocation. And so that's, as it sounds, it's divided by the number of people experiencing homelessness in your community. And then the 10% was allocated using a proxy for deep family impoverishment from the American Community Census survey data that we had. And so what we ended up getting is an amount that would be listed for cities, if you would. And being that our team is a small team of about, 4 folks, we also know that it's unreasonable for us to create 88 contracts and over 100 direct agreements for the unincorporated areas. And so in consultation with the board, we've adopted. It turns out to be about roughly 27 direct agreements that we'll have. 17 of those will be with direct cities. The remaining allocation, so if you're a city not receiving a direct agreement, your funding would be going through your council of government. So in this case, all jurisdictions within the Las Virgenes-Malibu COG, all member cities, will be receiving their allocation through the COG. And ultimately, what it ends up becoming is at that point, the funds that are programmed. And so for the COG, Las Virgenes-Malibu COG, you all receive a sum of $620,337, which is about double, a little more than double of what you've received in the prior years through Measure H. And ultimately, through the COG, I know we've worked really well with Terry in programming these funds for the region and so on. And so that would end up being the what comes out. We've set a very aggressive timeline to be able to execute these funds and get the agreements to you all by July 1st. It's something that is not a new process, but it is a very truncated process for the county, for our partners, such as the COG. But we're pushing for this timeline to ensure that we're able to get the contracts executed by July 1st from the county. And as you all know, the county is good on its money. It just, the phrase I've heard in the last year of being with the county is that it's good on its money. It's just sometimes it gets there late. And so we want to make sure that we try to break as many of those hurdles. And we've met with the Auditor Controller Office, the Assistant CEO of County Contracts, and the county council team. And these were dates that were established in order for us to be able to reach this July 1st and have all parties understand that we're moving at an accelerated speed. That's a little bit about the local solution funds through Measure A, the COGS allocation, and just the timeline that we have to work with. The first important date is today to receive the draft statements of work. And then over the next 2 weeks, the Homeless Initiative team will be reviewing. Under my portfolio alone, I'll have over 18 agreements that I'll have to manage. And so at that point, it's us reviewing the agreements, making sure everything looks good. We'll send it back to our partners for any feedback. And then from there, once everything's good to go, we kick it over to County Council and the contracts team to get it going. But I'll pause. I know I spoke very quickly and briefly about it, but I'll see if there's any questions that you all might have.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions? No, Terry, Yes.
I just want to ask one question, but before I do that, I just want to say that Marco is a tremendous partner with the COG and the county, and even though he's put us on this short deadline, it's not, I told him it's not his fault, so I'm not blaming him, but no, he's a great partner. I appreciate his cooperation and relationship with me and also with my assistant for homeless stuff, Jessica. So I want to lead off with that. But then Marco, if you could just take a minute to explain to the board in the city allocations why a city like Hidden Hills would be getting more of the allocation than Westlake Village.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I don't have the exact data in front of me, but from recollection, the way it works, the PIT count part of the formula is a multi-year average. We say multi-year because right now it's based off the 23 and 24 pit numbers. When the new data gets released for 25, it'll become a 3-year average, a 3-year rolling average on a regular basis, I should say. What we found is that they're essentially, and I'll actually, if I'm able to share my screen, I don't know if I can, but let me give
You
it a
can.
try.
Yeah, you should be
Perfect.
able to.
Okay, and I know we have a packed agenda, so I'll try to be a little succinct, but
Well,
still.
Marco, you can just highlight it had to do with that federal matrix that kind of,
Yeah, yeah, thanks,
right?
Terry. So as you all could see, we have the 10% allocation for the ACS, which is the federal metric, the census, essentially, census survey, and then 90% PIT allocation. What we found is in many communities, we'll look at Agoura Hills, for example. There wasn't a lot of funding driven by the point in time count because there wasn't a lot of people experiencing homelessness. I know the example of Hidden Hills was mentioned. Very similarly, we see there was no allocation from the pit count itself. What we found, though, looking at the federal data, so this is data that's readily available for all of us, right? It's not data that the county made up, is that the number of families in deep impoverishment, which is a metric set at $10,000 or less in annual income, was higher in Hidden Hills. And so I know there's questions around what I'll say is I know there might be some questions around potential validity, but this is all data that was captured by the federal government, and it's what us in the county have to work with. And we worked with partners at the California Policy Lab, who mostly believe that this data is all accurate. And so what we found in other communities, again, looking at Agoura Hills, their total allocation is 71,000. Hidden Hills' allocation is about 73, and that's largely driven by the ACS formula component of it, not by the homeless data. And so there were some aspects there. One of the other methodologies we had was based off of communities reaching their regional housing needs assessment goals. It was one that I myself actually worked on heavily, was a very big proponent because it helped jurisdictions that are meeting their goals to receive further funding, right? So if you're building housing, which is what we want, you would get more funding. But again, ultimately, the supervisory districts felt that most of their cities and jurisdictions benefited from this allocation. It does skew things a little bit. You know, we saw that, I think, in Beverly Hills as well. It doesn't have a very high point in time count, but there are families listed there from the federal census that have deep impoverishment. And so you might see some skewing based off that. And it's all, again, just dependent on the federal data that's made available to all of us and that we utilized.
Thank you, Marco.
Of course.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for Marco? Thank you so much, Marco, for that update. Okay, moving on, Metro Transit Services. I'd like to introduce Joseph Forgiarini, Metro Senior Executive Officer, Service Development, to make the presentation.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to present. Just have a brief few slides, if you bear with me, see if I can get those up on screen. If somebody can let me know if they are visible. Just confirming if those are visible.
Here we go.
Now it's visible.
All right, I'll just put it on the PowerPoint mode and we'll get started. There we go. All right, so this is just firstly a quick overview of the Metro operations that we have in your region today. There are two primary fixed route services that Metro operates. Firstly, I'll touch on the operation on the coastline along PCH between Santa Monica and Malibu. That is known as our line 134. Again, that provides 7-day-a-week service. Frequency varies, typically every 40 to 60 minutes. We do see a lot of ridership, particularly workers coming into the Malibu community, connecting at Santa Monica from our wider transit network. So again, that is a 7-day-a-week service. One thing to note, right at this moment, we do have little bit of a impact to the operation of that service. It was suspended for almost 2 months in the initial aftermath of the tragic fires of earlier this year. And we now operate a non-stop zone of about 10 miles between the north end of Santa Monica and the south end of the Malibu downtown area, where we are unable to stop at the moment. But we are able to at least get the buses through. We restored service back on February 28th, and that continues as of today. Metro 161 is the second service, entirely different part of the area. This operates from Thousand Oaks through to Warner Center and Canoga Park, serving parts of Agoura Hills and Calabasas. Again, it offers generally 30-minute peak service, 60-minute off-peak, and it does run 7 days a week as well as a connection into our wider network at Canoga Park. Connects to the Metro Orange line, if you're familiar with that bus rapid transit line through the valley to North Hollywood. In addition, I want to acknowledge that City of LA actually operates a number of commuter express lines into that same area of Agoura Hills and Thousand Oaks. Again, that is operated quite frequently in peak periods, and those are numbers 422 and 423. They were former metro lines many years ago, but LADOT took them over in, I believe, in the early 2000s, around the time that our Red Line heavy rail subway operated up to North Hollywood. Switching topics slightly, I just wanted to go over some of the factors influencing, the service operations in this particular area. Some of the terrain and residential densities do, basically have a historic impact on what service is being provided, particularly when it comes to Topanga Canyon area. So that area and the road network leading to and from there is not really all that conducive to full-size bus operation on a regular, frequent basis. There are also some funding and regulatory issues that we face. Metro, firstly, we've for many years had basically a cap on the number of hours that our board and management have given us to operate bus service. You may at times hear us refer to our 7 million revenue service hours, and that's our annual quantity of service spread across our entire network. The local municipalities do have the opportunity to establish their own transit services. As an example, Calabasas has done just that, operating a small system within its community. Again, many communities do take that step in LA County, often using the Metro local return funds to help sustain those. School busing generally should firstly be explored through a school district. Metro, we are actually precluded from running dedicated school service that does not have any resemblance to our regular fixed route network. That is basically by FTA. That is an FTA item that has been around for many years. It's primarily aimed at protecting school bus operators from predatory action by transit agencies. LA County DWP, the Department of Public Works, does operate through Topanga Canyon in the summer months, summer beach service. I believe that's been around for some years now. So that's the common existing situation with the operation of service in that area between the coastline and then the Calabasas, Agoura Hills area. Local adaptations that Metro has experimented with and other agencies across the nation do often involve smaller programs of dial-a rides, or in our case at Metro, we launched what we call Metro Micro. It's a on-demand microtransit program. It has 8 pilot zones currently spread across the LA region. It is still just relatively new. It was launched in late 2020. And again, these types of systems are quite useful in doing things like connecting in to the wider transit network at major surrounding hubs. Other key strategies for connectivity may speak more to infrastructure, particularly Caltrans, as an example, may have opportunities to improve your infrastructure for transit operations for the future, particularly in the case of projects like the PCH recovery efforts that are underway now. We hope, we sincerely look forward to improvements even along our existing alignments to provide better facilities for our passengers. Particularly clearer signage, safer crossings, and of course we will always go out there and promote what available service is there for the community. I have just those couple of slides to share. I'm going to hand over to Nick Fox Robbins from our community relations team, who I believe is on the call with us. He wanted to put in a quick plug for one of our particular programs, travel training.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to update you on a couple of opportunities that Metro provides to increase ridership in your area, a couple of underutilized opportunities that I would be interested in exploring with you further. We have the On the Move Riders program, which supports older adults becoming more comfortable in navigating and riding our system. We actually have a meeting that we're working on scheduling right now with the city of Calabasas. So this meeting to explore options for our On the Move Riders program. So this is a meeting that we're hoping to have in the next few weeks. And I'd be very interested in connecting any of the other jurisdictions of this COG to that program if they're interested. The other program that we have, which can support ridership in your area, is our Go Pass, which is our student rider program, which provides free rides for K through 12 students. Currently, we've only got schools from Malibu signed up for the Go Pass. We've got 4 schools in Malibu: Malibu Elementary, Malibu High, Malibu Middle School, and Webster Elementary. And we have a total of 22 students signed up for Go Pass registration in the 2024-25 school year. So we've got all the other schools from your jurisdictions that are eligible to sign up for this Go Pass to bring free rides to your students. And this is, again, something I would be happy to introduce you to our program administrator for Go Pass to get your school signed up. There's no threshold for signing up. It's a cost-sharing partnership with Metro. The cost to participate in the program is $7 per student. And once your school is signed up, your students are able to enlist in the program and then get free rides for the entire school year. So that really concludes the Metro presentation. Thank you, Joe, so much for being here. And again, very interested in continuing the conversation about On the Move Riders and Go Pass with any of you who might be interested in speaking offline.
Thank you very much. Joseph, could you forward the PowerPoint presentation to Terry so he can share it with everyone?
Yes, we'll be happy to do that.
Thank you. Marianne.
Thank you. Thank you, Joseph and Nick, for the presentation. I was just wondering, does Metro have any smaller vehicles, or is it just the full-size buses that are available for programming?
Yeah, at the moment, our fleet is fully 40-foot or 60-foot buses. So, yeah, we do operate just the larger urban type vehicles. We don't have the smaller minivans or another type of 25-seater known as a cutaway. We don't operate those.
Okay. And, right now, Malibu is isolated from the rest of the COG due to no public transportation over, I would say, either Malibu Canyon or Topanga. I personally would be very interested in trying to find solutions to that so that we can connect over there. And I don't know if it would be exploring smaller vehicles, things like that. So I would really like to continue the conversation and seeing what solutions are possible out there in partnerships, whether through Caltrans or state parks, since it is going through the Santa Monica Mountains, to connect. So I'll drop Nick a note and we'll continue to talk. I know we've had some conversations in the past, but I think this is something we even we had a business survey that was put out, and one of the things that was highlighted was trying to find public transportation solutions to get people into Malibu, given the conditions of the highway. So it'd be extremely beneficial.
Yeah, we'd be glad to be a participant in that. Just would encourage to include county public works and other relevant groups like Caltrans.
Thank you.
Great. And I actually have a question looking forward to 2026 for the World Cup and 2028, the Olympics. All the mayors recently met to hear the plans for that. So in our area, are you going to be increasing the frequency of bus schedules?
This stage for the lines that I spoke about earlier, there's no plans for increases for those. Most of our efforts will be on the targeting each of the particular Olympic venues. Unfortunately, Santa Monica, we believe, may have dropped out as a venue, which would have perhaps given more support to improvements more locally on the Malibu side. We still do have a venue in the San Fernando Valley at Sepulveda Basin. So there will be a lot of operations from areas such as Chatsworth and North Hollywood on our Metro Orange Line corridor.
Right. And what about the dial-a-ride program? Can you expand that? Because what I'm thinking of is residents from the COG cities getting to the metro hubs so they can move,
Right now, Metro Micro is capped at the 8 zones, the pilot zones. We don't have any plan at this stage to expand. They're still relatively new, and we're still trying to basically get the costing under a level that the board's comfortable with continuing the program. We've recently just adopted a private vendor to run the service in place of directly operating it ourselves. So we'll keep an eye on it. We'll see what the opportunities might be for the future. Right now, I think our board is a little hesitant to push the expand button until we can demonstrate to them that we have the costs under control.
Right. Thank you. Could you unshare your screen so that we can?
Yes, certainly.
Thank you. All right. So we've done that. So Executive Director's report. I'd like to ask Terry to give his report.
Thank you. Because of time, I'm going to skip the first 2 items on my Executive Director's report because they are action items. So the fiber project and the homeless funding are action items, and I'll report on those when that opportunity comes up on the agenda. And we did discuss the fire debris removal. And if you'd like, as I could include for the next, I don't know, year or until it's not needed anymore, I can include a monthly update on the agenda from AQMD if you'd like me to have them provide a brief, either written or in-person update. And also Mark McCallum from FEMA, and I appreciate him reaching out to me during the meeting, said that he's got a new person that's going to be reporting regularly. That's Roxanne Crawford, so I will include her in future agenda distribution lists. But I did want to raise something that came up rather quickly, and that is SB 220 by our own Senator Ben Allen, who has introduced a bill to propose changes to the Metro Board as it's currently written. The board would go from 14 members to 18 members once the LA County Board of Supervisors expands to 7, and then it would go to 22 members when it expands to 9. And that's all without any increase in LA County cities being provided new seats on the board. So it really puts the cities at a disadvantage. I reached out to, originally I was going to invite Senator Allen to the COG meeting next month, but subsequently learned last week when all of this thing kind of came together with my COG executive director colleagues that there's a hearing coming up on the 28th. And so I spoke with Metro. Metro had not taken a position yet, but they did write a letter that was distributed yesterday in opposition to this bill. And then I do have a conference call this afternoon with Senator Allen and my LA County COG colleagues in order to discuss this. We're hoping that the current code based upon the most recent expansion of Metro Board requires all of this to go through the PUC and Metro to submit its own plan for expansion after there are new members voted for, or after the Board of Supervisors expands. So it seems a bit premature at this point to have this bill, but we did want to get involved and be engaged early, so the cities are continued to be protected on the Metro Board with equal footing. So that's something that's really important, and I do plan to come back to the governing board with information regarding that. Specifically with our Measure M funding, we have a $13 million allocation for the next funding year, and I will be working with your city representatives as part of the COG's Highway Working Group to determine how that funding gets recommended to the city managers and then the governing board. And kind of the wild card in that allocation is where we are with the current level or the current bid on our fiber project, which, as I explained in my memo and board report, is significantly higher than our budgeted amount. So based upon where we go in the next couple of months with that, and with the input from the city managers and our consultant, I'll come back to you with a recommendation on the fiber project funding, and that'll give us a better idea on how much we can allocate to individual city projects. So that's something that I will be working on over the next couple of months, and then we'll obviously be reporting back to you monthly at the COG meetings. With regard to homeless collaboration, on April 28th, the LA County COG executive directors will meet with Miguel Santana from the leadership table, who was one of the key players in putting Measure A together. And we'll also be meeting with the CEO of the LA County Housing Authority, that it would be working with the COGs and cities to try and promote more affordable housing in LA County. And then lastly, and of course, I'll continue to report back to you on that. And lastly, I attended the PUC forum last Thursday in Walnut. And I want to especially thank, I believe Hope's on our meeting today, Hope Chrisman, who, because they always allow elected officials to speak first, and because I was representing elected officials, I got to speak first, which probably saved me a couple of hours. So I really appreciated that. And it was an administrative law judge and one of the PUC commissioners who were present at that meeting. That was attended by, I would say, 50 or 60 people. And it was interesting that several of the speakers were technicians for the telecom companies. They didn't identify which ones, of course, but they did not speak very highly of their the companies that they worked for with regard to their interest in profit and not customer service, and especially on this issue with legacy landlines for the telephone. So that was just kind of an interesting side note for me, but it was a nice forum, and I've appreciated the effort over this past year with Hope Chrisman being our liaison from CPUC. I really feel like that we are better informed than we ever were with our CPUC liaison. So I just want to end with that, and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Go ahead, Kelly.
Terry, can we go back to the change in size of the Metro Board? I just didn't. I need a review on that. So it's going from 14 to 18. We're supposed to stay at 4. So that's 14. The supervisors will get 9. seats and then 4 more seats for the county CEO. My two questions. One, there's 1 extra seat. Who's getting that? And why do you have any idea why the county CEO needs 4 seats? I realize it's becoming an elected position, but okay.
I do not, and I can tell you that everyone that I've spoken with at Metro, from like Metro board deputies, I spoke with Ara Najarian's board deputy, and Metro doesn't like this at all, especially the 4 city representatives, because it would place them at a significant disadvantage. And one of the points that I was making is it's important to be inclusive and have people represented, but you can get such a large body that it just loses all of its effectiveness. And so I was arguing that point with a couple of people. So I really don't know the answer until I speak with Senator Allen today, because it was interesting in talking with Supervisor Horvath's transportation deputy. I started to say her homeless deputy, but Justin Ornstein, who's her transportation deputy, he said that Supervisor Horvath wasn't involved in providing any input into the legislation, nor was their office involved in any way. And Najarian's office felt the same way. So it really feels like that. I mean, maybe Senator Allen was trying to do a good government and get ahead of everything, but it seems like that this is all going to come back to Metro, and then they're going to put the puzzle together to come up with something that hopefully provides equitable representation on the board with cities and the county.
Okay, I really hope so. Thank you, Terry. I appreciate it. I see.
Yeah, I see Jeff was going to chime in too.
Yeah, I just wanted to let everyone on the COG know I am also kind of engaged with this. I connected with Terry and my other 2 COGs last week. I'll be on the call with Senator Allen's office today, and this is planned to go before the LA County Division Board of Directors at the end of the month, possibly for action or at least get some direction. It's great to hear some of you talking about what you'd like to see, and not to dilute city voices quite as much as is the plan in this version. But I know Senator Allen's office does seem interested in working with us in trying to make this a better process. So they're expecting that they're going to be doing some amendments, and we'll see moving forward how that might go.
If you don't mind, one additional comment. Just so the expansion of the Board of Supervisors is to give all regions more representation, right? I mean, so the supervisors are not each representing 2 million people. This Metro proposal in its initial stages is exactly the opposite of that. And that's very disturbing to me. We are getting diluted instead of more representation, which was the goal of the number escapes me, but you know what I mean. Yeah. Thank you.
We do.
Thank you, everyone. Any more questions for Terry? All right, we'll move on to our city updates. Nate?
Good morning, Honorable Chair and board members. Some quick updates for Agoura Hills. We just finished our Breakfast with the Bunny this past weekend, which is one of our large community events, particularly with our very young youth. And so it was a great event. And we have our community service days coming up at the beginning of May, which is also one of our most attended events with all of our volunteers. And so invite everybody to come out and join us. We do some small to medium-sized projects in the community to help people out. We also will be having a housing webinar in this month. And that is in an attempt to try to explain to the public the state regulations that have come down on housing and how the city is able to interact and view those applications as they come in. And then I just want to close with a thank you to all of our partners in LA County. as the fire hazard maps have come out. We really appreciate all of their outreach and communication with us. And then we've got some follow-up meetings coming today and later this week. But I just do want to thank you all for reaching out and making sure that we're educated and up to speed on things. And with that, Mayor Sylvester or Jeremy, if you have anything to add.
I think Jeremy had to leave us, and I enjoyed meeting the bunny. So please thank staff for that. Scott, are you going to give the report?
Good morning. I have two quick project updates. The first is the Commons Lane project right next door. As you know, it's a mixed use consisting of 80 residential units, 27,000 square feet of commercial space. And we finally have a timeline there that's scheduled for demo in September or October of this year. So we're looking forward to that. I think I'm probably one of the only sad ones that the movie theater is going away, but onward and upward we go. The commercial building is set to be completed at the end of 2026. And then the residential building will begin as soon as that commercial is complete. So the next project is the Cruzan project right adjacent to City Hall in the adjacent parking spot. And that's also mixed use, 107 residential units and 1,700 square feet of commercial space. So they will have to demo 125 of our surface parking spaces and then replace it with a parking structure. Here's what's interesting. We just received from the applicant a letter that they want to increase the residential units from 107 to 132. So they have not resubmitted those plans, but they at least notified us via letter. So once we receive that, then we'll have some additional dates. But that's the update on the Commons Lane and the Cruzan project. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you so much. Aniko for Hidden Hills.
Yeah, Scott, I'm very sad that the movie theater is going away. And I know that the Agoura Hills movie theater is going away or has gone away already. So I'm very sad twice, 2 times over. Updates from Hidden Hills. As a regional first, the city of Hidden Hills has adopted an ordinance aimed at reducing wildfire risk during critical weather conditions called Red Flag Days, which warnings are issued by the National Weather Service. And this ordinance was developed by the Los Angeles County, or with the coordination with the Los Angeles County Fire Department, and it prohibits a range of outdoor activities known as ignition risks and, like fire pits, fireplaces, or use of outdoor fire pits, fireplaces, and many, many other things I'm not going to list right now. But most importantly, the reason why I'm giving the update today is because last night our city council appointed our new city manager, Sean Bayliss, and he's starting his first day at work today. And Gloria, our interim, is there with him at City Hall. So that's why I'm by myself today. And just to tell you a little bit about Sean, Sean was the Director of Planning, Land Use, and Development for the City of Los Angeles 5th Council District. He has a vast track record of navigating regulatory processes that directly impact cities like Hidden Hills. He was responsible for the district use of policy, land use policy, budgeting, and building and safety planning, and Board of Public Works and General Services while at the City of LA. And he also worked as the executive director of the Bel Air Association. And that's a great public sector experience that we really appreciate in Hidden Hills. So I hope you will all welcome Sean. I think he'll make a great addition to the team of city managers here. And please reach out to him to connect. Thank you.
Thank you. Joe from Malibu.
Yes, thank you. Good morning. Good reminder to the whole group. Malibu is open for business, so please, if you can, make the trip down, support our businesses. They're going through a tough time right now, obviously, with everything going on, and our main artery is closed off. So please encourage folks to support some of the Malibu businesses. In a positive, and I don't know if Mayor Pro Tem Riggins was going to say it, but amidst all of the storm, we did have a very positive event last Friday. and we had our groundbreaking for our skate park last Friday. And so that should be done by the fall, and that'll be a great thing for our community, especially amidst all the fires and disasters. So that'll be great, and that was a fun event. Some events for your awareness. I know I heard it earlier, but the ROE deadline is today. So any neighbors that you're aware of in the Malibu area or any fire impacted homes, make sure that they submit that. On Wednesday, tomorrow night at 6 p.m., Caltrans has a PCH master plan virtual public meeting. And I can drop that information into the chat after this. On Tuesday, April 22nd at 4 p.m. at City Hall, we have a community meeting on the Franklin, Broad, and Woolsey fire. That's focused on Malibu, but there may be some interest there from some of our neighbors. And then we're continuing to have work sessions on all of our different fire topics, typically on Thursdays. Our next one's April 24th, and we are touching on sewer, how that may impact Malibu if we can, if we're keeping with septic or looking at a sewer option. So that has some regional impacts and ramifications. And then Thursday, April 24th at 6 p.m., there's the Malibu Association of Realtors is hosting a rebuild meeting at Pepperdine. So there may also be some local interest in that. And those are my updates for the group. And turn it over to Mayor Pro Tem.
I just want to compliment our staff. You know, the fact that we've gotten a ribbon cutting in the midst of all this disaster just shows that not only are we going to recover from this, but we're also making sure that all our residents have attention. And I just want to compliment our staff. They've just been fantastic, and the amount of work that they have had to shoulder and produce for us. So Malibu's open. Come see us, come enjoy us, and look forward to everybody out there. Talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.
Marianne and Joe, can I just ask you one quick question? One of the things that's impacting this region, and I know this is minor and compared to all that you all are dealing with in Malibu, is the closure of PCH. And I know that's a direct impact to you, your business community, your residents, but the traffic on the 101 is, I mean, it is nightmarishly horrible. And of late, I've been getting more and more, I don't know, just angry, grumpy residents about when is PCH opening. And I heard on the news the other night that Caltrans and the governor announced sometime in May, but I thought I'd take this opportunity to ask you two how confident you are in that and what you may know that is more than what the news is reporting. And does it feel like that May is actually going to happen for PCH?
Well, and I'm happy to start that off, and Mayor Pro Tem, feel free to cut me off. Yeah, the governor put out a news release on Saturday, which was a surprise to us. We weren't expecting that they're targeting the end of May for PCH to be open to everyone. But to get there, they're now going to a 24/7 operation on PCH. So instead of just doing the daytime hours, they now have all of the work, Army Corps, all the utility work is going around the clock. So they are ramping up and surging their resources to try to meet that. So is that realistic? It could be possible now that they're ramping that up. But I will say there is a lot of work still going on down on PCH. I mean, I drive it every day as I try to get to City Hall, and it's, there's trucks everywhere. And also last night at 1 a.m, since our city council meeting went till after midnight, I mean, they were still working around the clock last night too. So I know the effort's there. I think it's possible, but I don't know if they'll hit that or not.
Yeah, and even though that may be an ambitious goal to get a bulk of the debris removal done in that time frame, it's still not going to allow for the full use of both lanes in both directions on PCH for quite some time. Because even with the debris removal done, we're looking at SCE is undergrounding along with the telecommunication companies along PCH. I don't know that necessarily is going to finish up in that. Caltrans has a lot of work on the roadway. As Joe mentioned, that we are having a conversation as to whether or not to allow sewers for the beachfront homes. So that's going to impact the roadway. And, I don't know when we're going to see a full unrestricted access to Pacific Coast Highway. So I think for commuters that have traditionally used Malibu to bypass the 101 and the 405 for the west side, it's going to be a while because we're still going to have traffic restrictions. We're still going to have speed restrictions. There's currently four-way stops at every signal, so the backup's going to be pretty horrendous. And anybody who's driven PCH when we've had other, we had our signal synchronization last year, we've had mudslides. Those things are all going to impact the access to PCH. So what I've been trying to say over and over again is use Metro, use Metro, use Metro. I think that they did a good job earlier in this presentation to highlight the routes that they have cross town from Westlake Village to the east, going into Canoga Park and connecting into the more robust transit system and other transportation that they've got there. Same thing coming into Malibu. And that's why I think it's so important that we have a connection between your side of the cog and Malibu so that we can get people out of their cars, try and get people to carpool. I mean, any alternative means. This is going to be a long haul. It's not just going to end Memorial Day.
Appreciate that, Marianne and Joe. Thanks for the update. Really helpful.
Thank you very much. Rob.
Good morning, everyone. Good to see you all. Just quickly, Westlake Village, everything's going rather well. We're involved in some fairly significant long-range planning efforts, which I thought I'd share. One is the Community Wildfire Protection Plan. I know some other cities are pretty well along in that as well, but we're also embarking on that effort. And we've got a lot of engagement. We had a community meeting just a month or so ago, and we had over 60 participants, which was quite a lot for us. And so anyway, excited about working on that plan. And then we're also embarking on our strategic plan. It's a 10-year strategic plan for our city. So the Westlake Village 2035 plan. We have a 10-person citizen committee that will be appointed next week. And the council selected Mayor Honig and Councilmember Pearl to shepherd that effort over the next year with staff and the citizens committee. So looking forward to that as well. And the third long-range planning effort, which I'm sure we're all into right now, is the budget and preparing the 25-26 fiscal year budget, our capital plan for the next 5 years. So we've been pretty involved in that over this last month, and we'll be over the next month as well. And then we do have an event coming up, Earth Day, on April 26th up at our community park. It's a big family event, 3 o'clock. I hope some of you can join us. I can learn about sustainability and renewable energy, and we get several hundred people there. And in the evening, there's a movie in the park for families on the baseball field. Wild Robot is the movie, so you can come and enjoy that. And just lastly, on the movie theaters, Aniko mentioned the loss of 2 movies. We lost one too a couple of years ago in Westlake Village, a little independent movie theater. Sure, wish there was a way we could support these small theaters. If there's some way to do that in the future, would be great to see. So that's it for me. But Councilmember Pearl or Mayor Honig may have something to add.
I do not. Thank you, Rob.
Okay, thank you so much. We're now moving on to public safety, legislative, and agency partner updates. Captain Situ, are you with us?
I am. Good morning, everybody. Okay, so we have an open house here on, I know I'm kind of sideways, sorry, you guys. We have an open house here on April 26th. I hope you all come and join us. We are going to be swearing in our new station dog named Darcy. She's going to be Deputy Darcy. So please, it's great for the whole family. Please come out and just celebrate the community together. Again, April 26th. We just did an event, and I don't know if I spoke about this last time, so if I did, just slap me. For Senior Congress, the Futures Foundation. And we discussed one of our new volunteers. She's like the cyber expert. She is she's just incredible. And she talks about how our seniors can protect themselves. And the feedback we got afterwards was just incredible of people who didn't know what was going on and all the cyber. Okay, so yeah, we are looking forward to coming to your cities to do the same program and really reaching out to our city, our seniors, and talk about ways they can protect themselves. So look for that. Hit me up if you're interested. We'd love to collaborate and do something together. Contract cities at Indian Wells. This is such a fun event. I hope you all come. May 14th through 17th. One is a great time to just hang out together. And I know, like, I see Rob. I know last time we were there, it was great just like talking about vision and new things that we can bring to the station, to public safety. And some of them we've actually accomplished. So yay, Rob. And then I just got back from a tech conference in Vegas. And I go to this tech conference every 2 years just to kind of look at new ideas and what I can bring home. Here at 10 o'clock, I'll have a meeting looking at radar and how this little radar box, probably about that size, can actually cover an entire football field and an open space and determine if it's human and someone, coming up in our open space areas. We've had a couple more residential burglaries just this week. So I'm really passionate about trying to fight this, and they're all coming from our open space. So anyone who'd like to partner with me, I'm always good with partnering. And then the last thing is really, and I kind of talked about a few people in Malibu, some residents in Malibu are big into this, but as we move forward and lessons learned and what we can do better, are these like community buddies that can check in on our most vulnerable populations, of actually having buddies. Right. And, some of our people are disabled. Law enforcement doesn't know everything. We don't know every disabled person in our community. We don't know every elderly person. And I know Topanga does a great job of this. And we're just kind of trying to explore. And thank you to Supervisor Horvath's office, who's also come to the table to brainstorm some ideas of how do we protect our most vulnerable population during heat waves, during earthquakes, during PSPSs. So if any of you want to partner with us, we'd love to brainstorm with you and see how we can protect our most vulnerable. And that's it from Malibu Lost Tales.
Thank you so much. And I know we will be following up on some of those ideas. Any questions for Captain C2? Marianne? You're just
clapping.
Thank you. Okay, we have a representative from the Los Angeles County Fire Department. Fire Department? No, not present. Daniel Vicente, are you with us? Yes, Daniel.
I am. Hello. Good morning, everyone. My name is Daniel Vicente. I'm here on behalf of Supervisor Lindsay Horvath's office. I do have a few updates to share. So LA County, as you know, is leading in the fastest post-disaster cleanup in U.S. history following the recent wildfires. With that, we have completed phase 1. That was probably about a month ago or so. Phase 2 is well underway right now. I believe the number of properties cleared at this point stands at around 450, if I'm not mistaken. Supervisor Horvath also authored a motion that directs the county, that has directed the county in the last several weeks to proactively remove fire debris from properties whose owners had not yet responded to the government-run private property debris removal program. The action is critical to ensure that communities can safely and swiftly begin the rebuilding process after the wildfires. The motion also had directed immediate resources towards testing and environmental safeguards to ensure that our coastline remains safe and clean. Some of the big news coming out in recent weeks is that the Board of Supervisors has officially approved Supervisor Horvath's motion to consolidate homeless services into one unified county department. So the motion passed in a 4-0 vote and represents a historic shift towards accountability, efficiency, and measurable outcomes in the county's approach to homelessness. The long overdue reform will eliminate bureaucratic delays, improve system delivery, service delivery, and ensure greater accountability for homelessness solutions. So, some of the timeline that we have right now is that this passed on April 1st. So, that was the motion to establish the new county department. By July 1st of this year, there's a deadline for the consolidated department to be stood up, and by July 1st of next year, the LASA funding and staff will begin to transition to the new department. LASA will continue leading on the continuum of care, handling things like the homeless count every year. However, this model that the new county department is going to follow the county's Housing for Health program, which is the most efficient model system-wide, which last year helped nearly 7,000 people into interim housing, 37% of whom exited to permanent housing. And really the time for change is now, and it's about bringing accountability home. The motion centralizes oversight of services currently spread across 14 different county departments, and brings key LASA functions under the direct supervision of the Board of Supervisors for maximized accountability. So if you do have any questions about that, please let me know. We do have a homelessness liaison in our office who I can put you in touch with, who can talk you through this probably a lot better than I can, just because it's definitely it's definitely big news, and I know that he had a lot to do with it. So happy to put you in touch with him. Palisades Fire, after action sessions, the county has hired a third-party firm, the McChrystal Group, to lead listening sessions throughout the county. On Monday, April 7th, we had one at Santa Monica College. On Thursday, April 10th, we had one at the Topanga Community Center. And the final one for this contract is going to be on April 29th, Tuesday, April 29th, from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Malibu Public Library. You can I can send the email to you, Terry, so people can sign up for those. But we also sent it out in our newsletter as well. So if anybody receives those, it should have been in the one from about 2 weeks ago. But I'll also send you that link so folks can sign up and go to those if they're interested. So essentially, residents who were impacted by the Palisades fire are able to attend these. It's kind of like a hands-on workshop, so we can get feedback about the evacuation and emergency alert system. It's really focused around those two aspects of the evacuation and the emergency alert system. So if you have feedback about those two, you were impacted by those yourself, please come out and make sure to give your feedback about what your experience with those was like, so that the county can learn, make any changes that it sees necessary, and so that those can be included in the after action report. Last thing I have is that Measure G implementation is underway. The Board of Supervisors recently completed the first public budget hearings in LA County history, and applications just closed for the government's reform task force, which is required to be seated by June 2025, and will play a critical role in shaping the future of LA County government structure. You can learn more about that on the Measure G implementation website, which is measurej.lacounty.gov. That's all I have, and I'm happy to take any questions if anyone has any.
Thank you so much, Daniel. Do we have any questions?
Just Daniel, would you put your contact info in the chat, please, so I can pick it up? I don't think I have it. Thank you.
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you. The Highway Patrol report has been emailed to us, so we'll move on to Jeff, Cal Cities.
Hello again. I did put a link to my report in the chat. It didn't get included this time. I was just a little late with it. I wanted to highlight that we are looking for members to serve on our Cal Cities Board of Directors. That's the statewide board, and also our LA County Division Board of Directors. Right now, we've got those are open. LA County, excuse me, the division, the Cal Cities Board is open for another week and a half or so, and then the division is open for about 2.5 weeks. But please let me know if anyone is interested. I also included information on the action alerts, which most of you should have received via email. But we are really stepping up some of our work on legislation. It's getting to be that time of the year. We've got a lot going on legislatively, and it's going to be kind of a packed time with all the housing and other bills that are kind of moving around right now, especially with the 16 bills that Cal Cities is actually sponsoring this year, trying to put forward some good information, some good policies in the legislature rather than just opposing a lot of these things most of the time. We're also looking at the SB 220 Metro Board, which I mentioned, and planning to look again at the McKinnon Bill AB 470, the carrier of last resort information. So appreciated being able to hear some of that conversation today.
Thank you so much. Any questions for Jeff? Moving on, the SCAG's update from Rachel Wagner is included in the agenda. Are there any representatives or agency partners who would like to speak? Ryan?
Actually, I had a question for Jeff, if he could comment on the Assembly bill, which would allow certain cities to petition to be exempt from the 2 a.m. Last call alcohol sales, and how that would affect adjacent cities as being a draw for the transportation in particular. If everybody's going to drive for, half an hour to West Hollywood to get drunk until 4 a.m, how that's going to impact everything else. So that is a big concern for me, with especially what PCH used to be, and the number of, very fatal DUI accidents that I've experienced over the years. How this Assembly bill got legs and what's its future?
Well, firstly, Cal Cities doesn't have a position on that bill. And I will say it has been an idea that has been floated many times over the last several years. It only made it to the governor's desk once, where he vetoed it. I know they brought it back again last year and thought it might go somewhere, but it didn't. So I think you have to kind of wait and see. I don't expect that will actually move, but if it does, obviously contact your local state representatives and let them know how you feel.
Thank you. All right. We're now moving on to our action items. The letter to Supervisor Horvath regarding sheriff staffing. I appreciate the COG cities considering this matter. Are there any comments or questions about this letter that was discussed at the March meeting? If not, do I have a motion to send the attached letter to Supervisor Horvath?
I make the motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Shapiro, second.
Thank you. Terry, could you call the roll?
Terry, you're on mute.
Aniko Gold,
Aye.
Marianne Riggins,
Yes.
David Shapiro,
Yes.
Ray Pearl,
Aye.
President Sylvester.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. We're now moving on to the letter of opposition to AB 470 McKinnon. I'd like to call upon Terry for his report.
Thank you. Last year, as all of you know, the governing board opposed AT&T's application with the Public Utilities Commission to be relieved of its carrier of last resort obligations, which would significantly impact the COG region because of the necessity for landlines during disasters such as fires or earthquakes. And as a result of that, we opposed that. And then there was legislation that was introduced last year by Assemblywoman McKinnon that's basically very similar to the current legislation. And this is in line with what I spoke against at the CPUC rules, proposed rule changes with regard to carrier of last resort. And so the attached letter is for your consideration to send in opposition to AB 470.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions or comments? Seeing none, I will ask for a motion to approve sending the attached letter of opposition to Assembly Member McKenna and members of the Assembly Telecommunications Committee, along with our area legislatures. Would you call the roll, Terry?
Was there a motion? I must
Oh, sorry. Yes, do I have a motion?
And I have a quick comment. I hope every city here will follow up with their own individual letter from their city in opposition of this bill, as Hidden Hills already has, and maybe some of you already have. Thank you. And I make the motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Call the roll, Terry.
Aniko Gold,
Aye.
Marianne Riggins,
Yes.
David Shapiro,
Yes.
Ray Pearl,
Aye.
President Sylvester.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. We're now moving on to the fiber consultant contract. Terry, would you give us your report?
Sorry about that. With regard to item 7C, the process that the COG was following and the schedule was upon the completion of the design engineering and our bid package, we interviewed 5 consultants to be the project manager / construction manager for the fiber project. However, and well, I will say that the city managers and the public works staff that were on the panel unanimously selected Accenture as the most qualified, also with the second lowest bid. And so we were really impressed with them. Our plan was then to move forward. However, when we opened the bids and determined that, number one, all 3 bids were non-responsive, but more importantly, the lowest bid was 19 million when our engineer's estimate for construction was 12 to 13 million, and our own Measure M allocations for this project was 14.5 million. We immediately had to regroup, and so I've met a number of times with the city managers. During that time, they did state that they wanted the public works and city engineers to meet in person with Accenture, which we did, which was a very informative and productive meeting. But we did get to the point where, as a result of the low bid being $5 million over our budget, that we decided to work with the consultant from Accenture, Jonathan Smith, who's on the meeting today, work with him in order to see if we could come up with a path forward that would allow maybe some revisions to the bid package. And so I worked and have met with Jonathan and the design engineering teams a number of times over the past several weeks in order to come up with a short-term contract that was approved by the city managers. They are recommending it. It's a short approximately 2-month contract for $20,000. Of course, the funding from Measure M would cover pre-construction as it did with the design engineering and the subsequent work there. So I confirmed with Metro that we could allocate funds for that project. So what you have before you is the contract between the COG and Accenture for a short period in order to go over the current bid package, make necessary changes in order to hopefully get a lower bid, and then have them participate with the COG during the bid process and subsequent bid openings with recommendations. So I'd like to introduce Jonathan Smith to make some short remarks, and then I'll turn it back to you, President Sylvester.
Thank you, Terry. Good morning, Honorable Chair and COG board members. I did promise Terry I'd be very brief, but I think it's important for you to know some of my background. I'm actually a retired director of public works and city engineer. After 22 years of servant leadership, I decided to retire, but I didn't do that very effectively. Here I am as a senior vice president of Accenture, managing a water wastewater business line and a fiber business line. The fiber business line is close to my heart because it allows me to continue my servant leadership role in assisting cities like the COG members here and this very important project, fiber project. Just a little bit about where we're going with this. Yes, we discovered that the bids did not come in within budget. I discussed with Terry some alternatives based on our experience, Accenture's experience, my team's experience specifically in managing fiber projects across the country and also within California. We have working relationships with the construction community that does this work on a daily basis, as well as Accenture's experience in providing fiber and fiber to the home worldwide. So I'm excited to bring our expertise in smart city infrastructure and connectivity and deploying fiber networks, cell service, 5G cell service, and IoT solutions for a seamless integration into the community. IoT stands for the Internet of Things. It refers to physical objects that are embedded with sensors and software connected via fiber to bring smart city technologies, which will happen to the 5 COG cities. We talked about already today about working with Metro and interacting with Metro to make sure that our community members can get to and from World Cup activities and Olympic activities efficiently. Our company Accenture has done that in Paris. We are doing that with LA Metro, and other members of LA County and Riverside County that we're working with actively to make sure that community can get to these events efficiently. And this system that we're marching forward with will be a key to having that happen. And we'll be bringing more information to Terry to provide updates to the COG so you can see what is coming as far as this type of connectivity. Also, we bring, as a public works director and city engineer, I'm very knowledgeable in these types of projects, and also the importance of intelligent traffic mobility solutions, interconnecting our traffic signals to be more efficient. I'm really excited about the opportunity of working collectively with the COG organization to do this on a much larger scale and providing these solutions to the community, taking advantage of AI technology, which is amazing. It's an amazing tool. And then providing digital public services, enhancing the city's operations with cloud-based platforms and public engagement, in emergency response and governance. Also, making sure that we have proper cybersecurity and data protection, ensuring a secure, resilient network that is backed up, independent of services being provided by electric providers. We'll have a backup system that'll be independent in case of an emergency. So that's a little bit about me, about what we are going to achieve with this project. This short period contract will give me the ability to take the lead in working with the construction community, bringing our experience of improvements to the bid that incorporates current micro-trenching standards and utilize other industry standards for this type of work, and also take advantage of some of the changes that have occurred from when this project was put together. Technology changes very quickly, and we're going to incorporate those changes as well. And I'm very confident that we'll have a competitive bid. Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any questions or comments?
If you were going to keep talking, Jonathan, I was going to say you were going to talk yourself out of the contract. So
sorry.
All right. Is there a motion to approve the contract?
I move to approve the contract.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you so much. Terry, will you call the roll?
I will. Aniko Gold,
Aye.
Marianne Riggins,
Yes.
David Shapiro,
Have we lost David?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ray Pearl,
Aye.
President Sylvester.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you so much. We're moving now on to the 25-26 proposed homeless funding statement of work. I'd like to call upon the Executive Director for his report.
I know that Board Member Gold has to leave in a minute, so I'll try and move these last two items along quickly. As you heard from earlier with Marco, who presented our homeless funding, how we got to the allocations that we got to. Ours is 620 million, excuse me. That would have been interesting. 620,000. And I'm going to share my screen, which I normally don't do, but I want to, let's see, where's it go? This is the new format for the spreadsheet that the county has developed with the Measure A working group. So as you can see, we have a case manager, outreach coordinator, that's Gabriel. We have a case management and outreach administrative assistant, which is a part-time position. I'm proposing to recommend Gabriel's allocation 5% to be effective July 1st with the new contract. I'm proposing to increase the case management and my administrative assistant from $2,000 to $3,000 a month, as she's going to be required to perform more work with the county in coordinating our funding. Our flex funds, which is the direct client assistance, which is basically cash that can be provided or that can be used for car repairs or extended hotel vouchers or other things like that. We're going to continue that at 20,000. It is recommended that we add 3 more beds to Malibu's allocation with the people concern, because The 4 beds that Malibu has allocated have all been used, and so adding 3 more is important to continue our effort. However, we have not consistently had 2 beds filled at the San Fernando Valley Mental Health Center for the other 4 COG cities. So we're recommending to keep that at just 2 beds. And then we're proposing to add a crisis counselor, addictive mental health counselor, one from the people concerned, which is the 91,000 allocation, and then, excuse me, the $100,000 allocation. The estimate that we've been given so far is that that's probably around $93,000, but we haven't confirmed that yet with the people concerned. There was also some consideration given to adding a crisis counselor on this side on the 101 side of the COG for the other COG cities, but we didn't really think that we could justify a full-time allocation for that person, maybe part-time. So right now, the proposals that we have, or the projected funding that we have, shows these allocations, and I'll be working with the COG's executive director, excuse me, my administrative assistant to finalize this. It's just been a very time-consuming and frustrating process. But like I said earlier, with Marco Santana and his staff have been very helpful in kind of walking us through this. As a side note, I do have a bet with him. If we get our statement of work in today, like they've requested, he's going to buy lunch if they don't get us a contract by July 1st, and I'll buy lunch if they do get us a contract by July 1st. So we'll see how that goes. But that's what we're recommending, continuing the funding with the current projects that the COG has, making those minor increases for Gabriel and my administrative assistant, and then adding the 3 beds and 1 additional crisis counselor, addictive counselor. And that concludes my report.
Thank you so much, Terry. Are there any questions or comments? See,
Terry, I just appreciate the work that's gone into that recommendation and all that the COG does to support these efforts. I think is money and time incredibly well spent. So appreciate all the work.
Thank you. Thank you. A lot of it goes to a good relationship with the county and everybody's participation. We forgot to mention that we did have a homeless working group meeting to go over this to just make sure that everybody was on board with this recommendation.
and I would also like to thank Gabriel for all the work he has put in to working in our various cities to help those who are unhoused. So thank you, Gabriel. All right. Is there a motion to approve the proposed 25-26 homeless funding statement of work?
I will move.
A second?
I'll second.
Terry, would you call the roll?
I will. Aniko Gold,
Aye.
Marianne Riggins,
Yes.
David Shapiro,
Yes.
Ray Pearl,
Aye.
President Sylvester.
Aye. Thank you. We're moving on to Measure R adjustment for Malibu. Terry, can you give us your report?
This is a rather easy one, so it won't take a second, but Metro does a biannual adjustment of their Measure R projects within the COG cities. And they're doing one in June that was announced at the meeting last week that I have my monthly meeting with Metro. And so as a result of that, I reached out to all of the COG cities. Malibu has a project that has Measure R funding that they're requesting a $500 reallocation from the PCH Median Improvement Project, which has been completed, to the PCH Signal Synchronization Project. It's not requiring any new funds be allocated. It's just moving one from another. So it's a revenue neutral adjustment. And so my recommendation would be that the governing board approve the Measure R adjustment for Malibu.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? All right. Seeing none, Terry, would you call the roll?
Motion. Can we?
Oh, sorry.
Motion.
I'm skipping ahead again. Trying to get this thing moving. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Okay, great. Now we can call the roll.
Aniko Gold,
Aye.
Marianne Riggins,
Yes.
David Shapiro,
Yes.
Ray Pearl,
Aye.
President Sylvester.
Aye. All right. Are there any comments or requests for future agenda items? Seeing none. Future meeting dates. The Technical Advisory Committee may meet if needed on May the 7th, 2025, and the Governing Board next meeting is on May the 20th. Before we adjourn, I'd just like to say I will not be here for next month's meeting. So, Ray, will you be able to run the meeting?
So I will not be able to be here next time either. Kelly will be here in my place, however. So if it's okay.
So what is the protocol then, Terry? Do I go to Jeremy first?
We've never had this, so there is no protocol. So I would say it's whoever you would like to run the meeting.
All right. So well, I'll send an email around to discuss that. Okay.
I'm fine with the next senior person, whoever. I'm the newest one on the group, so I'm fine with whoever's the most senior being selected.
It's fine if Go does it or Jeremy. I don't mind at all.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Or I don't know if the protocol is to go
Probably
to the next
Kelly as the alternate is the most senior.
Well, yeah,
probably been on the COG the longest. I mean,
Kelly, why don't we just settle it? Kelly, you're in charge next month.
I'll do it. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So if there's no further business, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.